Hello everyone, welcome once again. In this video, I will be talking about my teaching philosophies and approaches to teaching that I have adopted in my short lecture on capital budgeting. I have three main teaching philosophies: promoting active learning and critical thinking, integrating research in teaching, and development through communication. So first of all is active learning and critical thinking. I believe that students should not be only well equipped to take their tests, they should also be able to apply their knowledge several years down the road. That's why students must be active learner. So as an instructor, I provide active learning opportunities to the students so that they can critically think that how they can use the knowledge learned in the classroom in different domains of their lives. So I adopt different approaches in doing so. For example, I first start any session by providing a big picture where I explain the topic in a simplistic manner without any jargon so that students have an easy access to the topic. And after that, I present some visuals or some key questions or a video to attract the students towards the topic. These will actually make the students intimately involved to the topic from the very beginning. Additionally, in each session, I also formulate one or two key questions, the questions that will be answered throughout the lecture session. That it helps the students follow the lecture since the lecture will be evolved around this question. After that, one obvious query students might have in their mind that why it is relevant to answer this question, or is it only a part of their curriculum or it has some other relevance. So in this stage, I motivate the discussion. So I bring some statistical or graphical information in relation to the topic, which make this relevant for the students in terms of their future role in the corporations or in terms of corporations, in terms of the economy as a whole, so that students can appreciate the relevance of this topic. Then I provide a general or typical lecture. I explain the topic first. I provide numeric examples. I provide some visuals that you have observed in my short lecture. And I generalize the discussion in a way that students get different perspective from the lesson. For example, in my short lecture, I gave one example from US perspective as well as from Australian perspective. I also make the discussion real. That means I bring real companies in the class and show how a particular concept or a theory is being used by these companies. And finally, I make students involved in the class. I adopt different strategies for that, but particularly in relation to this topic, I probably would ask a student to answer the central question that I presented initially. I will ask a student to solve some problems. Those are related to the numerical example I have shown. And I will also ask students to choose some companies and find out their annual report and if there is any information there in relation to their capital budgeting practices. My second teaching philosophy is integrating research in teaching. So I use research knowledge or research experience in explaining a theory. I also use research evidence to explain the topic and also let the students understand how a particular technique is being used in the real world. For example, in this short lecture, I have shown two research findings, one from Journal of Financial Economics and another from Australian Journal of Management in terms of the acceptability and intensity of the use of capital budgeting techniques. Last of all is development through communication. So I keep getting responses from the students about how they're understanding the topic. I identify the topics that may appear harder for the students or complex for the students. So towards the end of the class, I provide a summary of the topic and I repeat those points that appear to be difficult for the students so that it becomes easier for the students to comprehend those difficult topics. So that's the end of my discussion on my teaching philosophy and the approaches that I have adopted in my short lecture on capital budgeting. Thank you very much.